everybody. Happy New Year and welcome back to Power Tips for PowerPoint with Janet. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about cropping and scaling images. Don't you just hate it when you see a PowerPoint slide and it's got people's portraits and some of them have been stretched out so it's like really wide and distorted, or some of them have been squished or pulled or whatever. And sometimes you might see a slide that has several people's pictures on it and they're all different sizes. Well, this does not look very professional, so I'm going to show you how to correct that problem using the cropping and scaling tools in PowerPoint. Okay, you might sometimes find yourself with several different images that you want to make consistent. Like, let's say you have several different people that you want to show on your slide, and you want them all to be this size. But you've got all these images and they're totally different sizes, and maybe some of them have even been stretched out and distorted. So we never want to distort images. That's by, you just can distort it by grabbing this and, squishing it or pulling it out. This is not the way. I'm going to show you how to take a slide that looks something like this with these images distorted and all different sizes and cropped funny, and make it look more like this with the images the same size and not distorted. So I'm just going to copy this slide and paste it. And I'm going to go ahead and delete these images. So let's go ahead and insert a picture from stock images. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and select that and hit insert. And this is the full-size image that has not been distorted. Now, the first thing you do not want to do is you don't want to just grab one of these white dots and start doing like that, because that will distort your image. I'm going to undo this. You can, however, hold down the Shift key and scale it this way, and that will scale it without distorting it. You can also decide how large you want your image to be. So I'm going to decide that I want this to be, first of all, I'm going to click on Format Picture, and I'm going to make sure that Lock Aspect Ratio has been selected. And then I'm going to decide I want it 1.5 inches tall. All right, there we go. But the only other thing that's wrong with this is she's a little bit off center, which is very nice for the image itself, but it's not what we want for this slide. So I'm going to click on the image. I'm going to go to the crop tool, and I'm just going to move it over here and move it over here manually until I have it 1.18 inches. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not sure I like it being an odd number like that, so I'm going to go back to the Format Picture pane. I'm going to click on Crop, and I'm going to make it 1.1 inches wide, and that will crop it. Now, you notice that if I pull one of these white circles, it's just going to resize the image. And I don't want to do that. I want to center it a little bit more. I'm going to click on the picture, click on the crop tool, and I'm just going to manually, holding down the Shift key, make it a little bit larger and move it down a little bit. Okay, so there we go. I think I also want to go ahead and crop her hands off. So I'm going to continue making the picture a little bit larger and center it a little bit. And there we have a fairly well-centered corporate-looking image. So if you want to do it manually, that works fine. You can also use the Format Picture pane, click on Picture, click on Crop, and you can move it around like this, okay? It's a little easier to do this way. Like, I might want it to be 1.3 here. Oops, no, I don't want it to be 1.3. I'm going to try 1.15. You know what? That's about perfect. And that way you can do it very precisely. So I'm going to go ahead and put my image of her right here. And let's see, what do we do with this one? So let's pretend this is our second person. So this is a mess. This is just a whole mess. Let's go back to Format Picture and let's hit Reset. Oh boy, that was a little bit too big. Okay, so that's a little bit large, but at least it's not distorted anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see, how tall did we make this one? We made this one 1.5 inches high. So I'm going to make this one 1.5 inches high. Just zoom in a little bit so we can see it better. So now we've made this giant picture the same height as this. See, they're the same height, but this is still a different width. So I'm going to go ahead and I can either use my crop tool and crop the black box in, or I can go to the Format Picture pane, click here, and adjust the crop position so that it's 1.1 inches wide. Of course, now it's off center. So now I can go back to my crop tool and scale it manually and move it around like that. And then the final thing I'm going to need to do is make sure that they're aligned properly. Align top. There we go. So this one is 1.5 inches high by 1.1 inches wide. This one is also 1.5 inches high by 1.1 inches wide. Finally, what do we do with this one? Well, same thing. There's my image. Somebody's moved it within the crop tool. So I'm going to click on Picture Format, click on my crop tool, and just drag it around. Okay. And this one's a little bit taller now. So what do we have here? We got 1.5 by 1.1, 1.5 by 1.1, and 1.86 by 1.24. All right, so I'm going to go back over here to Format Picture. I'm going to, under the crop position, 1.5 by 1.1. Oops, I did it backwards. 1.1 by 1.5. And I'm going to just move this manually. And, I'm noticing that these are just a little bit different. It's not that big a deal, especially if you actually had different people. But we can look at how this image is sized over here and the width and height and offset. And we can basically copy these numbers to this picture and it'll be the same. So width 2.79, but that's distorted it. So we definitely don't want that. So let's change the height 1.86. Oh, and that's made it lower and we don't want that. So now let's go over here. Offset X is minus 0.3 and offset Y is 0.16. So offset X is minus 0.3 and offset Y is 0.16. And there we have it. We got this image and this image are now identical. 2.79, 1.86, minus 0.3, and 0.16, I think. Did I remember that correctly? Ha, I did. So there, we have three images that are sized exactly the same. They have not been distorted, and I've shown you a little bit about how to use the crop tool manually or to crop using the Format Picture pane. And there you have it. Cropping and scaling pictures, people. Happy New Year. Take care. Talk to you soon.